I want to teach you some super descriptive adjectives related to the five senses: sight, hearing, smell, touch, taste. And I want to teach you some common collocations, words that are frequently used with these adjectives, and I promise you will learn something new. My name is Wes. The channel is Interactive English. That's what it's all about, just trying to help you improve your English skills and always learn new things. So let's start with sight, because I think quite often we want to describe the things we see. And the first adjective that I have for you is uncanny. Uncanny means that something is strange or mysterious in kind of a surprising way. You could say somebody has an uncanny ability to do something, like an uncanny ability to pick the winner. It's very surprising. Or it could be strange and mysterious because it's unsettling. Maybe I'd say, you have an uncanny resemblance to my father. That's another collocation with this word to say that somebody has an uncanny resemblance to someone else. Then we have dilapidated. It's a very descriptive word, and usually you might describe a structure as dilapidated. And what it means is just old or in poor condition. So you could say that the building is dilapidated or the bridge is dilapidated. Maybe in your town there might be an area where some of the buildings are dilapidated.
Give up the condo life. Give up all your flaming worldly possessions. Go live in a dilapidated house in a toxic waste part of town.
Then we have the word gruesome, which means that something is unpleasant or shocking, and often it's related to death or injury. And that's also a collocation with this adjective. You could say it was a gruesome death, or maybe you're watching some police show and they describe a scene and they say, oh, it was a gruesome scene. Then we have a word which is more, well, it's more positive than gruesome, and that is mesmerizing. If you say that something is mesmerizing, it means that it is attractive in kind of a mysterious way, and you just cannot take your eyes off of it. So you could maybe describe somebody's eyes as mesmerizing, and you just want to keep looking at their eyes. Or maybe you could say that you were mesmerized by the performance. I hope that you are mesmerized by this video lesson. And then we have hazy. So hazy means just, well, not clear. But you could use it in two different ways. You could use it to talk about the weather, and it's not clear because of the heat, and you'd say, well, it's a little hazy outside. Or you might use it to describe your memory. And in that case, you're saying, well, it's not clear, you don't remember it very well. You can't really put a picture up here in your mind and see things. It's just hazy. My memory is a bit hazy. Now, as you learn new vocabulary, I think it's important that you try to practice using these words and phrases. And I think the best way to do that is just with conversation. And if you'd like to get more speaking practice, maybe improve your pronunciation, learn more about grammar, then I'd recommend you check out Lingoda, which is the sponsor of today's lesson. And Lingoda is an online language school where you can learn English, business English, Spanish, German, or French. And right now, Lingoda is getting ready to have their biggest promotion of the year. If you click on my exclusive link in the description, you can get 40% off your course fee. But first, let me tell you why I think Lingoda can help you reach your fluency goals. These are small group classes, which means you'll have plenty of opportunities to speak. Classes are available 24/7, so you can pretty much customize your learning schedule. They have qualified teachers with a proven curriculum. You get to design your course, because once you're placed at your level based on your needs, then you get to choose which topics you'd like to cover. You can study from home, which is a very comfortable learning environment, and there are cashback rewards, which is an excellent way to stay motivated. I know this because I have also studied at Lingoda. You can see me right there taking some lessons in Spanish, and it really helped me improve my speaking confidence as well as my pronunciation, two things that I really wanted to work on. So if you are ready to invest in yourself and have more work opportunities, maybe communicate easily with others when traveling, or even just for your own personal enrichment, you can do all that when you click on the link in the description and take advantage of this incredible offer. Because once you click on that link, you can get 40% off all marathon courses, or 40% off the first month of a monthly subscription. Once you click on the link and sign up, you don't need to do anything else. The discount is automatically applied. And if you're still unsure, there's no harm in signing up, because each each plan includes a 7-day free trial. So click on the link in the description and sign up to start improving your English, invest in your education, invest in your future, and invest in yourself. Let's get back to our lesson with more super descriptive adjectives, and I want to talk to you about hearing. And the next word that I have for you is faint. And if you're describing something as faint, it means that it is not strong or clear. And you may refer to like a faint noise or a faint sound or maybe some faint whispers. And really what you're saying is that you're not able to hear it well enough to know exactly what it is. It's a very faint noise. And kind of the opposite of that is piercing. And piercing would be talking about, well, something that you hear that is high and loud and unpleasant. If there maybe is just this really loud ringing, and you could say it's a piercing sound. When my alarm goes off in the morning, it's just this very annoying piercing sound. Then we have raspy, which means unpleasantly rough. Okay? And often I think you would use this word to describe someone's voice. They have a raspy voice. For example,
what about this Joker guy?
One man or the entire mob? He can wait.
When the new DA hears about this, he'll want in.
Do you trust him?
I really don't know why they gave Batman such a raspy voice, but it is a great example for teaching this word. Then we have thud. And thud is talking about the sound that's made when something heavy falls and hits something else. And often I think you might use it with the word loud and say that you heard a loud thud. And the other thing I would say about this word is I think people would use it when they don't see what it is that's falling and they just hear the sound and say, oh, I heard a loud thud, like this one. Here's another thud. Okay, we don't know what it is, but we heard it and we could say, there was a loud thud. Vociferous. It's a great word, and you would use it to describe a person because what it means is that someone is expressing their opinions or complaints loudly and repeatedly. So you could describe perhaps a vociferous opponent or talk about someone's vociferous demands. If I were just like yelling at you loudly, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, do it right now, I'm not going to take no for an answer. Those would be my vociferous demands. But I don't want to yell that at you. I want to ask you politely, please subscribe, hit that like button. I just wanted to give you an example of what vociferous means. Now let's talk about smell, and a couple of these words could also be used to describe someone's taste, like this first one, which is overpowering. So overpowering just means that it's extremely strong or intense. If you smell something that's just overpowering, and really that's all you can smell.
Open grave. Get him out quickly. The stench is overpowering.
You could also use the word heavenly to talk about both smell and taste, and it just means that something is giving great pleasure. When talking about smell, I think you would often use it with the word aroma. Aroma refers to a pleasant smell. So if you say that something is a heavenly aroma, you're really just giving it a bit more emphasis. Next we have putrid. It's kind of the opposite of heavenly. And if you say that something is putrid, it just means that it's rotting and really has an unpleasant smell. So you could say that there's a putrid odor, or a putrid smell, or maybe a putrid garbage can. Just really unpleasant. Then we have the word toxic. Toxic just means poisonous. So if you smell something that you would describe as toxic, then you just need to get the hell out of there.
Eyes forward, back straight, and, oh yes, breathe in the toxic fumes and you'll probably die.
Toxic fumes?
And then there's the adjective musty, which means that something is smelling unpleasantly old and slightly wet. So you could say that it's just like a musty room, or maybe you're talking about some musty old books. And people will often use that phrase to describe something, musty old something. It's unpleasant, maybe a little wet, a little damp, and it's just a musty old smell. Let's talk about words to describe the things we touch, like slick. And if you say that something is slick, it means that it is, well, smooth and maybe shining, and that you tend to slide when walking or riding on it. So I could say that the roads are slick because of the ice. Then we have filthy, which means extremely dirty. And you could also use this word to talk about things that you see. But if we're referring to touch, then maybe you might slide your finger along something and it's really dirty and you could say, oh, this is filthy. Next is the adjective lukewarm. I really like this one. It's just saying that something is slightly warm, especially a liquid. So perhaps I'm talking about maybe the shower. I can say, yeah, the shower is just a little lukewarm. So somebody knows what to expect, that the water is just slightly warm.
Hey, the word, you're going to leave me here with a floundering career in a lukewarm Americano?
Mushy. Great word. It means that something is soft and has no firm shape. And you would probably use this word talking about things you might be touching with your hands if you're preparing food and maybe some meat. That is mushy. Yes. And then there's cuddly. Cuddly is just talking about something that you'd want to really wrap your arms around in a caring and affectionate way. Maybe you're talking about a cuddly stuffed animal, like this one right here, which my daughter calls Huggy. Yes, stuffed animals, they can be cuddly. And then there's taste, and I want to teach you this adjective right here, subtle, which means that something is not bright or loud or noticeable or obvious in any way. You could also use this adjective to talk about, well, hearing or something you might see. But if we're talking about taste, you would use this generally in a positive way, and you're describing something that you're eating that has a subtle hint of something else, like a subtle hint of cinnamon or a subtle hint of oregano. So that's a good phrase to learn, a subtle hint of something. Then we have strong, which I think is also used when talking about smell, but it means that maybe a taste is very noticeable and powerful. And you could describe maybe a cheese, a blue cheese, as having a strong taste, or coffee. That is a common collocation if somebody's talking about strong coffee.
That Arabian is strong coffee.
Pungent. This is one of my favorite adjectives from the list, and you could also use this to talk about smell, but what it means is that something is smelling or tasting very strong and sharp, and often I think you would use it to describe something that you find disagreeable. So I could say that a durian has a pungent taste. And I also think it has a pungent smell. Then there's savory. We can use this adjective to talk about food with a salty or spicy taste, not a sweet one. So pretzels, garlic bread, beef jerky, I could describe those as savory. And then there's succulent, which means pleasantly juicy. And there's a wide range of foods that you could describe as succulent, ranging from strawberries to steaks. There's a lot of food that I would say is succulent.
That looks positively succulent.
I hope that you learned some new and descriptive words and collocations in this lesson. If you did, let me know. Write the word mesmerizing down in the comments. That way I know that you learned something new, you enjoyed the lesson, you could not take your eyes off this lesson. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. So long.